Hey up everyone! So today's movie I'm discussing on the channel is the new satirical horror film Opus, which is written and directed by Mark Anthony Green. This is his debut feature film, and Opus stars Edebiri as magazine writer Ariel Ekton, who follows her boss and a small selection of journalists to this remote compound in the middle of Green River, Utah, so they can cover the grand return of a renowned 90s pop star called Alfred Mallotti, playing this film by John Malkovich, who after a 27-year hiatus is releasing his 18th studio album called Caesar's Request, which is tipped to be one of the greatest albums of all time. Yep, even better than Brat. But when they get to the compound in the middle of nowhere, Ariel clocks that something about this place is a little bit off, and that's all the plot you need to know. I didn't know a whole lot about Opus before going into it, but it did sound quite intriguing because I'd heard from some people that saw the film at Sundance that it was kind of giving off similar vibes to horror films like Midsommar, Blink Twice, or Get Out. So it sounded like something that I would enjoy because I do like a horror film with a bit of a satirical edge. And I was right. For the first 2/3 of this film, I was really into it, but the last third of this film, yeah, not so much. Which is a real shame because the first hour of this film, I was really invested in it. It had my curiosity, it had my attention, I was engaged by the peculiar atmosphere, the setting, and the performances were quite fun and a little bit off kilter. But that last third of the film, it just got really messy. But I will say there is still a lot to praise about Opus. Like, for one, I did enjoy the production design of this film. Like, the setting of Mellotti's compound was just very isolated and creepy. I also enjoyed the score because it's got this sort of like relaxing spa day feel to it, but there's something paradoxical about music that's supposed to be relaxing but is also quite unsettling. It was giving me like White Lotus vibes. And speaking of music, I also really enjoyed the songs that were written for this film because Mallotti, being a pop star, that has a few songs sprinkled throughout the story, and the one that was used at the beginning of the film to sort of like introduce the audience to who Mallotti is, I think the song was called Simone. That was really good. Like, that was a song that I would actually listen to for my own pleasure and amusement. And yeah, it just sounded like a good karaoke pop song. I was like, could this song maybe get into Best Original Song at the Oscars next year? I don't know. I'd like to see it happen, but probably won't because it's a horror film. But yeah, the music in general in this film, I did enjoy. It's also shot really beautifully, okay? I did like Mark Anthony Green's camera work, okay? There's a lot of like bird's eye view shots in this, some impressive drone work. For a debut film, he shows a lot of promise. The costumes are also really impressive in this. Like, John Malkovich must have like 20 costume changes in this, often from like scene to scene, even though they follow immediately after each other, which was quite funny. But yeah, he's wearing like these massive high heels, sarongs, lots of jewelry, lots of rhinestones, and yeah, I did appreciate the costume work. That was fun. And I also like the little touch that all his followers were wearing blue, which is the reason for my choice of t-shirt today. Edebiri was also fantastic as Ariel. She is fast becoming one of her generation's most exciting up-and-coming stars. Her character Ariel is essentially a stand-in for the audience because we're experiencing everything that she is when she's immersed in this very strange environment with Mellotti's employees, although I guess you would call them followers, but they actually prefer the term levelists. And it soon becomes clear to both Ariel and us, the audience, that Mallotti has become this religious-like figure to them, and that the compound is a literal cult full of fans turned fanatics. So yeah, right there, I did think that there was some interesting ideas in Mark Antony's script. He's commenting on obsessive fandom and celebrity culture and how some pop stars, for lack of a better word, are worshipped like gods. Bow down, bitches, bow down, bitches. But yeah, some pop stars are so idolized by devout fans, and this film explores that fine line between fandom and religion. Because yeah, it really does feel like fan or stan culture can really be viewed as a religion these days. I'm looking at you, Swifties. So yeah, I appreciated what it was trying to say, but somewhere around the third act, the message just gets very muddled and confusing. I found the last third of this film really frustrating because it was just so frantic and rushed. And it's all over the place. It's just like they were trying to wrap things up as quickly as they could. But even though it really did feel like the film was building to something, the payoff just wasn't satisfying. Not enough of its ideas came together. Like I said, the script touches upon cult-like pop stars, but there's also ideas in here about equality and balance. And the ending sort of touches upon this idea of how we're living in this new world where popular celebrities have become like our world leaders like Donald Trump, and how his followers are, living amongst us. They're serving us coffee, stacking shelves in grocery stores, or, you know, they're teaching our kids. So it's saying quite a lot, but also not saying enough about the points that it's trying to make. Mark Anthony Green is painting with broad strokes. There are some interesting ideas in the mix, but not enough exploration of those ideas. It's all just a bit vague and generalized. There's also a lot of stuff in this which seemingly had no payoff, like the 6 puppets of the 6 guests and the oysters. I know we got that shot of the pearl necklace at the end of the film, but what did that even mean? Like I said, it was just vague and confusing. And there were some baffling choices in this which just left me scratching my head. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but one scene involving a beanbag chair was just very odd and random, and I was like, what is the point of this? What is happening? Why is this happening? What is the significance of this? I didn't quite get it. Yeah, I was disappointed by this film's third act. It felt like it needed a few more rewrites. Also, the supporting characters in this were very underwritten. There wasn't a lot for great talent like Murray Bartlett or Juliette Lewis to work with. And apart from Edebiri, the characterization overall was just paper thin. And I'm sad to say that even John Malkovich, I wasn't blown away by as Melody. I mean, he was fine. He did have his moments, but did he make the role his own? Was he so enigmatic and charismatic that I personally wanted to follow him myself? Not really. Even his dance scene, which he gets in the middle of the film, whilst was admittedly funny, I do feel like he could have taken it even further. But also, considering how much of the story is centered around him, you don't actually learn a whole lot about him, like how he's wired or why he's doing the things he's doing in this film. And perhaps that was intentional, you know, to keep him shrouded in mystery like a religious figure. But I was left at a distance wanting to know more about him, but not really getting any answers. And that's part of the reason why I was so frustrated by Opus, because I left the film with more questions than I had answers. All right, let's ask them 3 questions. Firstly, would I watch this again? I don't think so. Whilst the film did start off pretty strong, the resolution of this film just wasn't satisfying enough to make me want to come back for seconds, so no, I don't think I'll watch it again. Question 2, do I recommend it for you guys? Oy. Honestly, I'm not sure I would recommend it. I feel most people will probably walk away from this film feeling a bit gypped and disappointed. Sure, it is entertaining, but it just doesn't stick the landing. So no, I don't really recommend it, but if you are a fan of Edebiri, she's great in this, and you know, there is some fun to be had. But yeah, personally, I wouldn't recommend it to my friends or family, so make of that what you will. And question number 3, what score do I give out of 10? It has been a good while since I've seen a film which started off so strong only to bungle it up so hard in the last act. Having said that, there were parts of it I enjoyed, and I did think there's an interesting idea in here. It just needed to be developed more. It's just a shame that even though there is some good stuff in here, it didn't add up to a satisfying whole, so I'm gonna give Opus a score of 4 out of 10. But as always, guys, it is just one bloke's opinion. I'd love to hear from you. Have you seen Opus? If you have, what do you make of this film? Is it good, bad, somewhere in the middle? Whatever you guys have to say about this film, do let your voice be heard in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, do help support the channel by hitting that little thumbs up button. It's very good for the algorithm. And if you want more movie, TV, and Oscars related content, don't forget to click that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm lukehearfield, and I'll see you next time. I completely missed the camera. That was hilarious. It just went whoosh.